Hi, today we're going to go over Excel Project 2, and what you should be doing for Excel Project 2 is downloading the instruction sheets and downloading this template. The template you download should look like this, and it should have a payment function tab, an amortization schedule tab, a yearly totals tab, and a chart tab. For the payment function tab, work on that first, then the amortization, then yearly total, then chart 1. Now in the amortization tab, it says that here in selling price, we put the selling price of the home. That should be between $50,000 and $120,000, and you should put whatever amount you want in there. I want everybody's to be different, but I recommend you use a even number. That way the payments and the down payment will not have as sense most of the time. So what I'm going to enter in is $99,888. Now the down payment I've said should be $25,000. The amount borrowed then would hit the equal sign, this amount, minus sign, this amount, enter. So this is the amount. Now there's one problem with these four things. These four things should be looking like currency. Currently they're not. So I highlight the four, right click, format cells, and then go currency, and I'm going to do 0 decimal points since I didn't make it an odd number. Now we've got this in here. The interest rate then I had you put in is 0.065. That's 6.5%, and when you hit enter, it shows up with the percentage sign because that cell was already formatted that way. The length of the loan is 10 years. The balloon payment here is how much you owe at the end of the loan, and I put that formula in for you. It's 0.5 or half of B3, which was the amount of the selling price. Now we need to get the payment. To do the payment, we can either go here to FX or go here to formula. We go to the financial. So up here we see financial over here, and we go down and we have to look what looks like a payment, and we find PMT, and that says it calculates the payment for a loan. So we'll use that. The interest rate is 6.5%. And we should make this absolute. So we hit F4. Now there's one problem. This is 6.5% per year. We're getting a payment per month. There are 12 months in a year, so we must divide that interest by 12 to get the interest rate per payment, and that will show up as 0.5%. Now we next have the total number of payments for the loan. Well, we're going to do it for 10 years. Again, we should make that F4, but we need to multiply that by 12 because we make 12 payments per year, and that should show 120 right over here. Present value, that is going to be the amount of the loan, the amount borrowed. It's the selling price minus the down payment price, gives me this. And again, I hit F4. Now, what I forgot to do here, though, is put a minus sign in front. That's so this payment here will show up as a positive number, not a negative number. Future value, usually we have blank, but in this case we said we are going to have a balloon payment at the end. That is right here. And again, we hit that as F4. Type loan is whether you pay on the first of the month or the last of the month. We're going to leave that alone in this example. And then we click OK. And that shows us our payment. Now, if we go up here and should change this to $55,555, our payment goes down. If we should change it to $111,111, our payment should go up. And it does. Whatever amount you want to have in here, that's up to you. Okay, and I'm going to change that just to make it even. Okay. So our payment is $647.87 per month. This sheet is complete. We don't have to do anything more on this sheet. Amortization schedule. The main thing I want to do here is show copy and also go over the IPMT. So the first thing we're going to do here is we'll put in a number 1, and then here we'll put in a 2, and I'm going to go down and put in a 3. I'm going to put in the date of 1/1/2014. And then I'm going to put in 2/1/2014. And I'm going to put in 3/1/2014. So I've got our first 3 payment numbers and dates in. Now, what is the payment amount? I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. Okay, one would be simply by doing equals, then going over here, clicking where the payment is, and then hitting enter. You must hit enter before you change pages, or else up here it will change which tab you're on, and it will give you a wrong answer. So I'm going to hit enter, and that shows it. The other way to do it is I could take it over here, click on this, and since I made all of these absolute, I could hit a copy, go over here, and hit a paste, and that should give me the same number. No, that is not working in this case because it didn't change my page number. So let's just use this equals payment. Okay, and then we could copy that down. And we can't, it gave me an error here because I did not make this absolute. This must be absolute, so I always get where the payment is. By not making it absolute, when I copied it down, it changed the 10 to 11 and to a 12, which gave me an error. Now the payment looks good. I need to make sure each time I go through a cell it's correct before I move on. Now, this seems to be the most challenging part, is doing the interest payment. It looks really simple, but for some reason it tends to have people make mistakes in it, including me. So we'll see if today I can do it the first time. We go down here, interest payment, IPMT. And in that, the first thing it wants to know is the interest rate. Well, that interest rate is back here, 6.5%. Make it an absolute value, and then divided by 12. Okay? So we've got our interest payment, the rate. Now, we need to make sure that this stays on the payment function tab. If that changed, you need to go back and redo it. Mine is fine there. Next is the period. This is the period you want to find the range for. So this is number 1 now. This is our first payment, so we want to find the interest on it. If I type a 1 in here, I have a problem because I can't copy it down. So the reason I put payment number in here is because if I click on this and leave that relative, when I copy it down here, it will refer to the 2. Here, it will refer to the 3. Next is the number of payments, the total number of payments in the investment. That again is back here to the 10. Make it absolute. And then once again, we multiply that by 12. Okay? And now we have the present value. That means the beginning amount of the loan. We go over here again and find the amount borrowed and make that absolute. Then we have the future value of the loan. That again is the balloon payment. So we're doing the same thing we did for the regular payment here. And we hit F4. And then I click OK. Made one mistake again. Looks like only one this time. In the present value, that again should be a minus sign. Click OK. Now, how much did we then pay on principal? Well, we paid on principal, we had equal the loan amount that we paid minus the amount that went to interest. So we only paid this much on principal. So how much do we owe after we made the payment? Well, again, we hit the equal sign, and it's the amount we owed before we made the payment. That's the amount borrowed. And then I can hit enter, but that is not finished now, so I can go back here, and then up here you click and you put a minus sign, the amount you paid in principal, and you hit enter. Now the interest owed should work if I copy it down. It should go down by about around $1, $2, 50 cents, something like that. Mine's going down by approximately $1 every month. That looks fine. So then that means this should be going up by $1 every month because this is always consistent. That is working. Now, this, though, I can't copy down because what I owed before I started this month, if I hit the equal, was this amount. And then I subtracted this amount. And now I can copy this down. Now, if we have numbers that are declining here, increasing here, declining here, staying the same here, then we can take payment number 2 and 3, highlight all the way across, get our plus sign here, and pull down until we see the number 120 come up. 90, 100, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, too far. And what I should now see at the bottom here, it says $55,555. If I did this correctly, that is the same as my balloon payment, $55,555. If I change this amount now to $100,000, it should change my payment. It should change my balloon. It should change the amount borrowed. Let's see if it does. 50,000 is the balloon now. 75,000 is how much is borrowed. 554 is the payment. Now it should also have changed everything over here. So now this is correct at the bottom. It does show all of the different amounts all the way across. So we now have made sure this is correct, this is correct. Now, this is the part I dislike about this project, and it's irritating because I like to copy down, I like to copy formulas, I like to do that all the time. However, on the yearly totals, to get a chart that shows how much per year, there isn't a formula that you can use. So in yearly totals, what I want is the payments for a year. So in order to get that, I use the sum function. So I go here, sum is a mathematic formula, and I'll go down to sum. I don't want some square roots or some ifs, just sum. Click OK. And now what numbers do I want to sum? I want to sum the payments for the first year. So I have to go over here, payments 1 through 12. And I click OK. Then I need to use the sum function again. And so again, I need to go down here to sum. And this time, I need to get the, I lost track of which ones I would do. Okay, the interest. So I take the interest for 12 months. Down to 12 again. And I click OK. Now I need principal. So again, I need to use sum. And if I use most recently used, it should come up first. And now I need to get, again, the first 12 payments. And then I will click OK. Now, this number should be the sum of these two. It looks like it is. This one should be, well, it depends on how much you borrowed, but normally higher than this one. Now, what I'm going to do is we have to do the same thing. I'll do year 2, and then I'm going to pause the video. So in year 2, I have to again do the sum. And I again have to go over to the amortization schedule. But now I've got to start at payment 13 and go down through payment 24. So I get 12 payments. And again, I have to click OK. I have to do that again for each one. Okay, so I go over to the amortization schedule, and I go from 13 through 24. And then I click OK. You notice this should always be the same for the whole 10 years. This should keep going down. This should go up. Because you're constantly paying off the loan, so you have less that you owe, so your interest goes down, and more goes to principal. And I should be starting at 13 again, going through 24. Everything for 2015. And I click OK. This went up again by a little over $100. This went down by a little over 100. This stayed the same. I'll now pause the video, and I do the same thing for year 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'll show you how it looks when we're done. Okay, I'm resuming now, and as you see, I have added. Okay, I'm resuming now, and as you see, I have added now in for the 10 years. What's happened is all of these numbers are the same. These numbers decrease by approximately the same amount every year. These increase by about the same amount every year. If we look, all of these have some functions in it from the amortization schedule tab, and they will have these same numbers where they keep increasing by 12. Okay, so I'm going to escape from there. Now, I have one thing left. That's the chart. We go over here. I've already inserted the chart area. So all you need to do is right-click or click on Chart Tools. In both of those, then we have a spot for Select Data. When you click Select Data, you will go over here to the yearly totals, and we highlight everything there. That way we will have our labels on the left, payments, interest, and principal, and the labels for the horizontal of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I click OK, and I should have my blue lines straight across the top. The red lines, the interest payment, should be decreasing. The green lines, the principal payments, should be increasing. So it should look similar to this. And if I go over now and let's reread this. So it showed I had a picture of the amortization schedule, top and bottom, that you download in your Word document. Match this. Also had the yearly schedule, match this. And I had this chart laid out. There are no more instructions, nothing else that you need to do. So you would now save this and then upload it and submit it for grading. That's the end of today's lesson. Hopefully you get this done and have an easy job on doing it. Thank you.